So it's time for a cold start. Make sure it's in neutral. Get my gauge powered up. While I'm here, I'll show you some things. Oh, it just powered up. So this is what I use to log everything. It's tied to the computer. So you can see the RPM right now. It's at 99 degrees, 0 miles an hour, which is good. And then 75-degree intake air temp. So, so here's the factory radio. It's got factory altimeter. I've got the switches here. This is the right seat heater, left seat heater, and then obviously rear defog. And these two, one runs the rear washer and one runs the headlight washer. I've got switches here. Kids like zombies at the time, so I put these switches in. Zombie lights. Got one on each side because I've got two sets of lights wired. But I don't have any white lights actually in it right now. This switch here is for the dual battery system. So whether you on one or both together, you flip the switch. And this light here I put in, that operates or tells you that the second battery is charging right now. So it's actually adding it. As part of my harness, there's a switch in here that I just leave set here. That's a four-wheel drive switch. So what that does is if you're in four-wheel drive, you should flip that switch and it changes the shift points. I also changed all the vents to open close, just so you can open and close all of them. On the factory one, the center ones are rigid. Dash cap is in really good shape. And we'll go ahead and back it out. Starting to settle down a little bit. Once it warms up, it usually runs right around 600 or to 650 RPM. Warming up a little bit now, so I'm gonna go ahead and back it out and do a walk around after we look at the engine. So, engine's running nice and smooth. Everything works great in there. You'll notice, see how bright the lights are? Those are all LEDs, all the way on the outside. So let's take it out. Here's the under hood tour. So we'll start on this side. This is an FJ60 air cleaner. This is unpainted. This is how it came. I like that because it gives you cold air here, and it just fits better, fits really nice. Had to relocate part of the AC unit here and relocate the overflow tank here because I wanted dual batteries. Other than that, there's really nothing on this side. Here's the motor, washer tank's in its normal place. The guy that did my motor, when he put the Z06 cam in it, he put a Z06 decal on it. When I had it painted from this seam up. So this is all original paint, really good condition. But that and the bottom of the hood were painted. This is the original hood insulation. It's in really good shape. This is the original radiator. Seems to cool really well. I don't have a problem with it, even when it was 100 and some degrees last week. I've got it set up. Fan 1 comes on with the air conditioning. Fan 2 comes on at 201 and shuts off at 195. It's It's got a FJ62 transmission cooler in it. On this side, it's all the goodies. So the ECU I put back here where the carb fan OEM was. Pretty easy to get to, but you shouldn't need to. Cruise control for LS up here. Excuse me, for drive-by cable. This is an auxiliary fuse box. I run the heated leather seats on it, power seats. I run the exterior lights. I don't have any lights on it, but they're wired to it. And then I also put in here positive and negative bus bars, because anytime you need power, it's always easy to just come to one place and get it and put all your grounds to the same place. A lot of them come under the washer tank. Got a little fusible link here that runs the trailer controller. And then here we have a Hellroaring battery isolator kit, and there's a button underneath for it. Original washer tank still works, and I wired it in there. Tried to make most relays accessible. These are a set of relays here for, I believe, the headlights, but I'm not sure. Fan relays are down here, and there's some relays for the headlight and the headlight fuse. You can see it down there for the headlights. But I tried to keep all the fuses and electrical here or underneath the battery tray. Again, the core support was painted. All the rubber mountings were replaced. I replaced the stock springs with lifts, just because, again, so much nicer. Tried to make modern things to it, but still make it look stock until you start it. It does have the, excuse me, it does have the vent tube down here plumbed right into the water pump. So this is simply a basically a sight gauge and an air bubble for the radiator hoses. And on LS motors, that's right here, LS motors, very small upper radiator hose. So I bought this size to adapt to the Land Cruiser radiator hose. Other than that, it's stock except for the Z06 cam. Yeah, that's about it under the hood. So just a walk around here to get you to see the whole outside. Hood. Windshield surround, that gasket's brand new, OEM. I actually replaced all the wiper arms, upgraded them to Tundra arms because they got much better spring rate on them. I did add the FJ62 mirrors because they're bigger. So this has got the BMW seats in it. I'll pull this key out. All the locks were replaced, all 6. So, or wait, all 5. All the doors, the rear hatch, and the gas gauge, the gas door, all match. So this is these are BMW electric seats. They've got the bolster that comes out. Oh, you got a little ring in there, and some crackers. But they're power front and rear, power tilt. Memory is not hooked up. And again, this is a new carpet. All the carpet's new. Put all the original pedals back in. Put an FJ62 brake pedal in. Nothing's worse than doing a conversion and having a tiny little brake pedal because you're supposed to have a clutch. I also changed out the metal cover on the hump and put an FJ62 shifter in it. So that works. And I also did not put a twin stick in. A lot of guys put twin sticks in. They probably work a little better, but I like the OEM look. Sometimes it's a little challenging to get over to low, and that's just binding in the linkage. They don't line up really well. So Tuffy console. This seat will go back almost too far for you to reach. I'm going to go ahead and roll it up or move it up so you can see the carpet in the back. Again, I showed you earlier, but all the OEM gauges work. Radio works, altimeter works. Here's the door panel. Nice clean original door panel. Good speaker grills, not cracked. Here's the back seat. I had that recovered to match the front seat. again, kind of detailed, but I don't like to put in new front seats and have the back seat not match it. And then here's the carpet. That was new. For the Tuffy console, it sits quite a bit off the ground. So I took an old console that was busted off the top, and I cut the bottom of it out and slipped it underneath here just to cover it up. That's all it does. You can slide it right out if you want to, but that's all it does. Upgraded to FJ62 seat back, so I could put in shoulder belts and get the seat back. When they recovered the seats, they made sure they put the pocket here in the center, because when you tilt the seat down, you're supposed to take the receivers and put them into the pocket like the original seat had. And then here's the door panel. I'll give you a shot of the headliner. Really nice, clean headliner. I did upgrade the interior to all LED lights, front and rear. So that's already been done. Here's a more walk around to the side, get a chance to take a look at it before we go around to the back. Left the decals on the windows because I really like them. Again, the front and rear bumpers are both original, and they're in really good shape. They're probably as good as what Toyota brings out new. And the taillight light was in good shape. I put LED lights in it. Little rubber piece, you'll see that missing a lot of times. They're really bad. Again, not that problem here. So you look in the back, I put the FJ62 speakers in it. The panels and everything. Actually, I had to get a different panel for the FJ62 for these, but the other ones are all the original panels, original wheel humps. They're a little worn from use, but the speakers work great. I have the, if I can reach in here, the tools and the jack are still there. Washer is still there. Those all function nice. I mean, there's no rust anywhere in it. This is the original piece that was on there. If you look at the hardware in it, all the hardware is original to the truck. It just tells you that it was in really good shape. I didn't get it replated, didn't have to do anything to it. That's all the original hardware. So this truck was in really nice shape. Functions really nice. No binding in the seam or in the hinges like some do. You see a lot of these will bind. Talked about the lights. So here's the harness for the lights. So there's 2 power and a ground here. If you decide you want to put rear lights on it, or if you put a rack on it, the lights are already wired. They're already wired to the dash. All you gotta do is put the lights up and wire them up. Shuts really nice. So the back, there's the back. We'll walk around to this side. Again, stickers like them. Got a chance to see me there. Original door panel. Here's the carpet. Again, original hardware in really nice shape. The seats moved up from showing you the back, so I slide it back. It goes back just as far as the other one. All the way back. And then this has, I've got a little light in here because it does have underneath the dash the little plug for the light. So a little inspection light. Just had a new evaporator put in it for the AC. Everything functions perfect. Windows crank really nice. Doors just shut. No slamming the doors. Really put together nice. I'm not going to climb up on the roof, but I'll hold it up there so you can take a look at it. We did take out all the old seam sealer, put new seam sealer in it before it was painted. And you'll notice no chrome trim here, and I did not put the chrome trim back on the windows. I have all that. It's in really nice shape, but I thought it was a nice touch not to put it on, because if you put it on and you go to take it off, then it's probably scratched up. So it's a one-trip deal. Also, I had a guy put in, you can't hardly see it, but if I point to it, you can, 3M front mask put on it. These are so flat in the front, they rock chip up pretty good. So I had the mask put there. I pulled the front bumper off, and he masked this also all the way across, so keep that nice and clean. Headlight washers work. Everything functions perfect. There's one imperfection on the front bumper I want to point out. The chrome right here was lifted a little bit, so I made sure I treated that and just took some silver paint, kind of touched it up, but that's the only flaw in the bumper. The end caps and everything are just in awesome shape. So there you have it. 87 FJ60, 371 horsepower LS. Thank you. Here's a little acceleration video.
Okay, this is a 87 FJ60 with, what's the size of the Vortec?
5.3 Vortec,
5.3 Vortec, yep. We're just going to run down the road here a little bit. Up to about 70 miles an hour. Runs like a dream. This truck has a lot of tasteful modifications.
Here's a short little video driving down the road on the freeway. Speedometer reads about 71, 72, somewhere in that area. You look over at the ECU, it's reading 71, about 2150 RPM. 190 is the temperature. It's been at that for a long time. Intake air temperature is 77. That's the FJ62 air cleaner that I put on this. So it's drawing air from inside the fender well. Makes for nice cool intake, which is what you want. 2172 is the RPM. You look at the factory tach. This is a 62 tach. Reads identical. You got the gauges over here. Shows it's charging. I don't know if I can see the temp. It's about just below a quarter. And oil pressure. Runs about 50 pounds at idle. I've never checked it at highway speed, but it just about way over 3/4 on the factory gauge. So heading down the highway. Nice sunny morning, clear, beautiful day for a drive. So here's a little undercar walk around, just give you an idea. I've got the relay rods and all the steering rods and everything were replaced brand new when I put it in. The springs are new, the shackles are new. Bushings are new, they're all greasable, anti-reversible. Notice I got all the shields still in place on the side. I usually spray the underside with fluid film on all my vehicles to keep them nice and clean. They don't look super clean, but they're black and rust free. This bumper is the original bumper. It's not a perfect bumper, but it's original and that's why I like it. All the knuckles were rebuilt on it. You notice I've put extended shackles or bump stops on for the LS motor. This has got a hot rod oil pan, sump in the rear to avoid interference. Good look at the inside of the wheel wells. See it from underneath, which you don't see a whole lot. It's got I sprayed rock guard from here on down on both sides, here and behind the rear wheel wells. Here's the inside of the frame rail. It's a little dirty, maybe greasy from fluid film. Otherwise, really nice condition. Also, one of the things you'll seldom see in the LS swap is they seldom put this shield back on. The reason being is it's hard. You have to remake it, which I did. Cut it out for the new cross member. Cut out the front for the exhaust where it came in front. The exhaust, I've got a resonator in the exhaust, quiets it down a little bit. So I brought the exhaust in front of the transfer case. Most guys will bring it out and loop it over here. I don't really like that, so I don't do that. So they both come on this side. The motor mounts and the cross member are both by TLC Land Cruiser. They use them on their E-rods. Also bought it for the motor mounts. So I'll get a look down this side. A little dirty, but that's okay. Front drive shaft and rear drive shafts are both made new. The front, I had special made at a shop, narrow diameter. Otherwise, it's always hitting the pan. The old one hit the pan a little bit, so I had a new one made. Air conditioning compressor, brand new. I just had that done. This has got LS3 intake manifolds or exhaust manifolds on it. Instead of headers, because they're quiet, they don't leak, and they work pretty good in the LS3. So here we are in the back. Shocks. Fuel pump is right here. I frame mounted it, so it's easy to get to. It's got a fuel filter back here to keep it clean, so then I used all the stock lines to the tank. Yeah, now the shocks and everything were replaced when the suspension was done. I do drive it. So it gets a little dirty, but that's okay. I did add, let me get to the other side. I did add the FJ60 rear sway bar. Really made a big difference in how it drives. Of course, I did that after I put the exhaust in, so I had to pull the exhaust back out and remake it to fit that sway bar and get by here. Spare tire, this is all free and works. Spare tire holds air. It's a spare, so that's about all you can expect. Other than that, there's pictures up here, no rust. Bumper again, original rear bumper. There was a tad bit of rust right in the center back here when I pulled the bumper off, so I went ahead and fixed that. Wasn't really that much. This is, not sure where I got the hitch, but the hitch is on it, and it's got 7 pin in it, and it literally bolted up right to the stock holes that were already there. Just had to put a 1/2 inch spacer in it. Brought the exhaust out here. Again, here's a rock guard. You can kind of see it here where it starts and ends right below the seam. You can't see it very well when you're on the top, which is good, but super clean. Again, reversible, greasable and a reversible shackles. And this is the original rear bumper. Love the decals on it. So I got to take it. Here's where you can see the body from the bottom side. Unless you got ran over, you don't get to see it from this direction very often. So you have an upside down walk around. I got it up on my hoist because it's getting the oils changed. The headlight doors, those are all new OEM. The grill's new, the emblem's new. Headlights are Coito H4 halogens. All the exterior lights, blinkers, side markers, everything are all LED. The tail lights are all LED. All the interior lights are LED, very bright. So there you have it. There's my upside down walk around.